The Middle East is burning. At this very moment, Israeli warplanes are conducting unprecedented strikes deep inside Iranian territory, targeting the heavily fortified nuclear facilities at Isfahan in what experts are calling a point of no return. Tehran has vowed apocalyptic retaliation, global oil prices are skyrocketing by the minute, and emergency sessions at the UN Security Council have collapsed into shouting matches. This isn't just another flare-up in their decades-long shadow war. This is the moment the world feared but never prepared for. Newly leaked satellite images reveal catastrophic damage to Iran's underground uranium enrichment sites, while unconfirmed reports suggest Russian nuclear advisors have been placed on high alert. The Pentagon has just raised its DEFCON level for the first time since the Cuban Missile Crisis, and every major capital from Washington to Beijing is scrambling to evacuate diplomats. Within hours, gas prices have doubled across America and Europe, shipping lanes through the Strait of Hormuz have gone dark, and social media is flooded with footage of panicked civilians stockpiling supplies. What happens in the next 48 hours won't just determine the fate of Israel and Iran, it will reshape the global order for generations. The countdown to catastrophe has begun, and by the end of this report, you'll understand exactly how close we are to the unthinkable. The world is holding its breath tonight as the decades-long shadow war between Israel and Iran explodes into dangerous new territory. This is no longer just a conflict of proxies and covert operations. We're now witnessing direct military engagements that threaten to plunge the entire Middle East into chaos. According to CNN's live coverage from June 19, 2025, the situation has reached its most volatile point since the 2024 clashes, with Israel conducting precision airstrikes deep inside Iranian territory near the critical city of Isfahan. Let's break down exactly what's happening, why this matters more than ever before, and what could come next in this high-stakes geopolitical showdown. I'm Your Name, and in this special report, we'll examine the military, political, and economic dimensions of this crisis that's sending shockwaves across the globe. First, the strategic significance of these strikes cannot be overstated. Isfahan isn't just any Iranian city, it's the beating heart of Iran's nuclear program, home to key uranium enrichment facilities and advanced military installations. Early reports suggest Israel targeted at least 3 sensitive sites in the region, including what appears to be a missile production facility. While Iranian officials claim the damage was minor, satellite imagery analyzed by weapons experts tells a different story, showing what looks like significant structural damage to at least one underground facility. This escalation didn't happen in a vacuum. It comes exactly 1 week after a brazen drone attack by Iranian-backed militias on Israel's northern border, which itself was retaliation for Israel's alleged strike on an Iranian Revolutionary Guard commander in Syria. We're seeing a classic tit-for-tat pattern here, but with each exchange, the stakes grow higher and the potential for miscalculation becomes more dangerous. The international response has been swift but deeply divided. At last night's emergency UN Security Council session, we saw the usual geopolitical fault lines emerge in stark relief. The United States, while reaffirming its commitment to Israel's security, has called for immediate de-escalation, with Secretary of State warning that no one wins in a regional war. Meanwhile, Russia's ambassador accused Israel of reckless provocation and called for immediate sanctions, while China urged both sides to exercise restraint, diplomatic language that analysts say masks Beijing's growing concerns about oil supplies. Perhaps most concerning is the economic fallout we're already seeing. Within hours of the strikes, global oil prices spiked by 8%, with Brent crude briefly topping $120 a barrel before settling slightly lower. This comes as Iran's oil minister hinted at possible disruptions to shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway through which about 20% of the world's oil passes daily. Energy analysts warn that sustained conflict could push prices to $150 or higher, dealing another devastating blow to economies still recovering from the inflationary shocks of recent years. From a military perspective, what makes this situation particularly dangerous is the network of proxy forces that could quickly become involved. Hezbollah in Lebanon has reportedly placed its forces on high alert, while Houthi rebels in Yemen continue their attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. There are unconfirmed reports that Iranian-backed militias in Iraq and Syria are mobilizing as well. This creates what defense experts call multiple escalation ladders, meaning the conflict could expand in several directions simultaneously, making containment extremely difficult. Asterisk, the nuclear dimension adds another layer of complexity. While Iran continues to insist its nuclear program is peaceful, recent IAEA reports suggest they've significantly increased their stockpile of enriched uranium. Some analysts believe Israel's strikes were specifically designed to degrade Iran's nuclear capabilities, while others argue they may actually push Tehran to accelerate its program in retaliation. Either way, the risk of nuclear proliferation in the region just became significantly higher. Asterisk, on the ground, civilian populations are bracing for the worst. In Tehran, thousands took to the streets chanting anti-Israel slogans, while in Tel Aviv, residents stocked up on supplies amid fears of missile attacks. Airlines have already begun rerouting flights away from potential conflict zones, and several countries have issued travel warnings for the region. The human cost of this escalation could be enormous, with millions of innocent civilians caught in the middle of what's increasingly looking like an unavoidable confrontation. Asterisk, so where do we go from here? Diplomatic sources tell CNN that back-channel communications are ongoing, but the window for de-escalation is closing rapidly. The coming 48 hours will be critical. Either we'll see both sides step back from the brink, or we may witness a dramatic expansion of hostilities that could reshape the Middle East for years to come. Asterisk, what do you think? Is there still a peaceful way out of this crisis, or are we witnessing the opening shots of a wider regional war? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. For continuing coverage of this developing story, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm your name, and will keep you updated as this situation evolves. Dramatic music with on-screen text. Will diplomacy prevail? Follow for updates.